Greetings and salutations, young Drew believers of San Jose State University. So, coming down to the last two articles of the semester, yes, things are rapidly winding down, except obviously for quarantine. Anyway, so today's article is Luvell Anderson, and his article is entitled "Racist Humor." Interesting true story about myself and Luvell Anderson. We actually did our master's degrees together, so I know the guy. He's a good guy. So Anderson, he notes, as is should be readily apparent to anyone, a lot of American humor. I can't speak for humor in other cultures, although I've seen evidence that this is the case too. But American humor, in particular, trades in stereotypes, and oftentimes it's gender and racial stereotypes. So, that having been said, there is a sense in which making a joke about a stereotype can be inoffensive if it's done by a member of that racial or ethnic group, right? And it can also be inoffensive and effective and funny if it's done in such a way as to challenge the stereotype, right? So I'm reminded of this joke that Dave Chappelle told about some white friends of his. He took him to a soul food restaurant for his birthday, and he's eating fried chicken. They're looking at him like, look at him, he loves it, right? And Dave Chappelle told the crowd, he goes, all this time I thought I liked fried chicken because it was delicious. Turns out I got a genetic predisposition to like fried chicken. So that's challenging a stereotype. So on Anderson's view, there are a couple ways we can deal with this problem, right? So he being Anderson wants to challenge what he calls the racist, non-racist binary with jokes, and he proposes a third category that he calls the racially insensitive joke, right? So on Anderson's view, a joke is racially insensitive if it does not challenge this stereotype and one cannot reasonably expect the audience to understand that that's what the joke teller has in mind, right? So he gives us an example of this. Here we go. Yeah. There may be occasions at the bottom of page 467. There may be occasions where a speaker doesn't have access to her own motives. In such circumstances, it will be difficult for the speaker to guarantee he or she is guided by subversive motivation. That is, to undermine the stereotype, right? Further, the introduction of audience expectation presupposes sensitivity to background information and judgments of reasonable expectation must be made against. We can imagine, for example, someone who has just moved to the U.S. from South Korea and finds herself trying to fit in her new job. She decides to try her hand at humor using the only jokes she knows. Black people jokes she's picked up from TV broadcasts in her home country. She likely lacks the relevant background information to make a judgment about expected audience reception, given that she is a newcomer to this particular social location. So in that case, it would be advisable for the recent immigrant from South Korea to not even attempt to make a joke until she's had more of a chance to get familiar with the racial and the ethnic situation, the underlying tensions, right, in the U.S., and what would actually make for a funny joke, a joke that, again, is in good taste, a joke that helps to dispel stereotypes rather than reinforce them.